Hello, I'm the ASMR psychologist. Welcome to this channel and today's psychology therapy session. Now, today we're going to be looking at how to deal with stress in stressful situations. Now, life is full of stressful situations. Sometimes it's as if we get through one only to be confronted with another. But although it may sometimes feel as if we have no control over how we feel in these situations, how these situations affect us or impact upon us, we definitely do. Okay, so I'm going to begin with a diagram, I think. I'm going to get a pen out of my drawer. Now, this is a diagram that you may have seen before, but it's a really important one for helping us to understand how we interact with the world, with our life, I suppose. So I'm going to draw this for you now. I've lost my clipboard, so I hope this will still work using this pad. Give it a go. Okay, so we need to begin with what's going on in the outside world. So we'll call that the event. Okay. Now, when something happens, we have a thought about it, we attach a meaning to it, make an interpretation. But what we need to remember is that we are not neutral, objective observers of the world. The way that we think about things is very influenced by what's gone before our experiences, and our experiences create expectations, and these expectations are kind of the lens through which everything here is filtered. Okay. The type of meaning that we attach, or the thought that we have, leads to a feeling. So, positive thoughts lead to positive feelings, negative thoughts to negative feelings, and of course, stressful thoughts to stressful feelings. And then the way that we feel in a particular situation will determine what we do, how we respond, react, how we behave. I never leave enough room at the end of my piece of paper. I'd have to squeeze it in a little bit there. Okay. So, when we're in a good place, when we are feeling calm and confident, we behave in a particular way. We engage in activities that give us a sense of pleasure, a sense of achievement. We look after ourselves. We do all of those things that, interestingly, then feed back into the feeling that created them. And feed back into the thoughts from which I guess they originated. The same, of course, is true of negative or stressful feelings. These create behaviours that also feedback. So you can see how what happens here determines this cycle that we get caught in. Now, I appreciate that it doesn't always feel like this, and that sometimes it feels as if there's a line that connects what happens in the world directly to how we feel. But if this line did exist, this connection did exist, we would all feel exactly the same in the same situation. And we don't. There's always some variation. Sometimes quite a lot of variation. How different people feel in the same situation. And it's hard sometimes, I think, if someone is or seems to be responding differently in the same situation, to understand how that could be. How can you be so calm? How can you be so confident when all of this is going on? But the answer's here. The calm person, the confident person, the person who's able to retain some hope in the face of hopelessness, is thinking about the world and what is going on in a way that allows them to do that in a way that allows hope and calmness to be created, that allows behaviours that then reinforce those feelings, and reinforce those thoughts. So you can see that the event, what goes on in the world, it has the potential to influence how we feel, but it doesn't have the power. The power lies here with our thoughts. So, what do we do with that? It is good news, because we don't have control over what goes on in the world, but we do have control over our thoughts and the way that we think about it. Not an easy control or an immediate control or a control that is just naturally there. It's a control that we have to build and hone through practice. And I'm going to show you how to do that now. Okay. So, I know that you keep a diary for me every week where you jot down your feelings and the thoughts that go along with that. So I have that here. We're going to have a look together and see if we can identify some of the thoughts that you're having that may be contributing to how you feel, what you do. Let's see if we can do something to change those thoughts a little bit into ones that maybe create a little more calm, maybe some actions and behaviours that support that calm, create some confidence and hope, diminish the stress, the anxiety, the fear. So, now I know there are a number of different thoughts that you have about what's going on in the world right now. And maybe the one that I pick isn't or won't feel particularly representative right now, but we're going to use it just as an example for how you can work with your thoughts. So even if the one I pick doesn't resonate with you, try not to be too distracted by that. I'm going to focus on the strategy that you can apply to any thought. Any thought that you suspect might not be enhancing your experience. Here's one. My pen's not working, hold on. There we go. This virus is going to destroy the world as we know it. And you can see how anyone thinking that would feel pretty stressed out. So we begin by looking at the accuracy of our thoughts. And that's important because if we are going to allow our thoughts to dictate how we feel and what we do, they should at least be accurate, so we need to check for that. So, the first step is to look at the evidence that supports this thought. So let's have a think about that now. What's the evidence to support this idea that this virus is going to destroy the world as we know it? It has completely overwhelmed us. What else? It's completely restricted normal day-to-day life. What else? People are panicking. I'm panicking. Not me. But you feel like you're panicking sometimes. Okay. The next step then is to look at these 4 pieces of evidence, or however many pieces you come up with, and see if you can think of an alternative view or contradictory evidence. So let's do that now. So the first one was that the situation has overwhelmed us. What do you think? So it's true, but we are resourceful, creative, and we found our way through worse. And just because it's not clear this time quite how we're going to do that, that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Okay, good. Okay, number 2. We are completely we're completely restricted in our day-to-day life. What do you think? It is true, but only to a certain extent. Because we could use the time productively. We could work around the restrictions and make this time count, couldn't we? How could we do that? It's a chance to review what is important. Practice being present, not taking things for granted. It's an opportunity, certainly, to be healthier, more environmentally friendly, strengthen relationships, for sure. An opportunity to strengthen our relationships, even if we can't see people physically face to face. There are many ways to communicate with somebody. What else? It's the opportunity to learn and develop new skills that you don't normally have time for. And I think that's a good one as well. Sort your cupboards out. I'm certainly going to be doing that. Okay. Nice and practical. So the third piece of evidence to support the thought this virus is going to destroy the world as we know it was that people are panicking. What do you think about that? Is there another way of thinking about that? So, people have a tendency to panic, don't they? We are programmed by nature to go straight for the worst case scenario. It's a survival strategy which was very useful for our ancestors, but maybe is less applicable these days. But evolution is a slow process, so we retain that tendency. It's our kind of automatic default. Okay. And the last one was I'm panicking. What do you think? Okay, it's true. But I don't have to. I might have to work a bit harder, direct my focus more carefully, and live in the present, not the future. Because if you think about it, the future isn't real. It only exists in our imagination. The only thing that is real is what's happening right now. So we have a choice. Do we live in an imagined world, a fantasy world, or in the real world? Okay. So, that's the first. That's the first thing to do, so that is working here with these thoughts. It's important to start here. This is where it all begins. But as you can see from these arrows, the end is quite important too. The end is creating a feedback loop that keeps it all going. So it's really important to look at the behaviours, to look at what it is we're doing. So, begin by identifying what it is you do, what behaviours follow on from your thoughts. And then notice how they feed back in. Looking here at some of the things you've been recording that you do that I think could be contributing to the cycle of stress that begins with your thoughts and the way that you're thinking about things. You need to look at what you're choosing to watch on the telly, what you're choosing to read online. Maybe even the way that you talk about what's going on, the words that you're using without really realising it, maybe picking particular words that are a little alarming, catastrophic, negative even. And it seems like a small thing, and on its own it is. But if we see it in the context of this diagram that we're looking at today, all these little bits come together to form this cycle of stress and anxiety. So we need to pick them out one by one. I think it's important to look at also what you've stopped doing. The things that maybe at other times make you feel better, make you feel happier, give you a sense of pleasure and achievement. Simple things just like looking after yourself, eating well, exercising. And maybe going back to what we talked about a little earlier, engaging in activities that maybe you wished that you had time for at other times, and now you do. I'm not suggesting for a moment that a stressful situation, particularly the things that are going on in the world right now, can at any point be enjoyable, or a walk in the park even. But we really do have a tendency, inbuilt, programmed, to make things harder for ourselves than they need to be. So I always think when we're faced with something difficult, there's an opportunity, always an opportunity to do it differently, to approach it differently, beginning with our thoughts and the way that we think, and ending up with how we react, respond, behave. There is an opportunity here to do something different and then take the wisdom you gather forward into your lives, so that when things settle back down again into a different version of themselves, you can take this new approach with you, so that when the next thing comes along, you'll experience it in a different way. Okay. So we're going to end with a sleep induction. If you would like to fall asleep now, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, close your eyes. It's time to let go of the day. Relax and allow yourself to drift off into a deep, restful sleep from which you'll awake in the morning, fully refreshed, ready to face your day. As you breathe in, imagine breathing in calmness, relaxation, peace. And as you breathe out, breathing out any tension and stress, and allowing yourself to imagine in your mind's eye letting go of your day, your thoughts, your worries, your plans and predictions, allowing your breath to calm you, to slow your mind and relax your body, preparing you to sleep. 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 There is nothing more to do today. Your work is done. Everything is okay. You are okay. You are doing a good job. Even if sometimes it feels that you are not. You will get through each day and allow yourself to gather a little wisdom from it, which will help you through the next. But now it is time to sleep. 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 The sound of my voice drifting into the distance.